Crossover handicapping here in Harness Night School, the thoroughbred guy and the harness guy. We're going to mix notes and see how we handicap the two breeds differently and similarly. Tom Kelley from Harness Night School. We're talking about distances tonight, and the first thing at the top of the program in the thoroughbreds, you see the diagram, and it tells me whether the race is 6 furlongs, a mile and an eighth. Those distances mean a lot to me. In harness racing, you just have one distance, a mile. What gives?
It's a mile everywhere you go. The thing that does change is the size of the racetracks, and that dictates strategy in a lot of situations. On a half-mile track, you've got short stretches, you have to be up close. If you've got an outside post, you have to leave, you have to find an early spot. On a 7/8 mile track, you've usually got a long run into the first, I shouldn't say run, but a long pace or trot into the first turn. And that can give you a little chance to get situated, find an early spot if you have an outside post, or hustle away from the inside and protect your position. On a mile track, you can take your time, be patient, try and work out a journey, try and maybe get yourself into the middle of the pack and work out a second over trip or a third over trip behind an outer flow and not necessarily have to carve out the mile. But on the half-mile tracks, you've got to be sitting 1, 2, 3 throughout most of the race in order to have a chance.
When I'm going through the thoroughbred past performances, I'm trying to find a horse who really fits today's distance. Is this horse a 6 furlong specialist? Will he be able to get the extra furlong and run 7 furlongs? Are there specialists for the different size tracks then? Should we be looking for something that in standardbred racing, or is a horse just as good on a 5/8 as they are on a mile?
Most definitely. There are horses that can't get around the turns on a half-mile track. Some of your bigger horses that need a little help getting around turns are better off on a mile track or a 7/8 as opposed to a 5/8 or a half-mile track. And then you've got your sprints. You would call him a sprinter. You've got a horse that just can get around it, and just like shooting fish in a barrel, this horse gets around, and that's a big advantage for a horse. He may not be anywhere near as good as horses, but if he gets around those turns, it can corner just like a sports car. Then he can turn in from a 4-claimer and into a 10-claimer in a heartbeat.
So it sounds like with distances, they don't vary, but some of the applications as a handicapper are the same. Look at horses who do well on a particular distance of a racetrack, not necessarily the distance of the race itself when you're handicapping the harness races.